This is the Bush Whisperer coming at you from the beautiful Penguin Sanctuary, southern tip of Africa, Boulders Beach, Cape Town, South Africa. Come to talk to you about the importance of love and how fundamental love really is in this life. I've mentioned it before, the word love, the word live are fundamentally connected. There's an essential contact between all beings. And I've mentioned telepathy as well. I did a podcast about telepathy, how it works. It is essentially the expression of love. Love is expressed through telepathy. It's the force that connects us to each other. So the importance of love for the personal development and growth cannot be expressed enough. For love is the way in which we embrace life, is the way in which we connect with our deeper selves, is the way in which we find the equilibrium and the balance and the harmony that is the essence of who we are and what we are. And so it's very important that we can embrace love. And the way in which we embrace love is by surrendering to it. Love requires an absolute surrender. It's a total surrender to the heart, to the currents of the deeper emotions which connect us to each other, which act as a bridge between ourselves and other selves. In the same manner, it is a bridge that connects the different aspects of ourselves so that the self can manifest in a synergetic experience of harmony and so that wholeness can be expressed. And so it's fundamentally important to appreciate and understand that there are various different parts of the self that operate as a synergy in order to produce a sense of self. That the self can be experienced as a single entity rather than a group of entities is fundamental. And this harmony that is produced through the synergy of being is essentially how the soul is able to manifest through the powers of life, the different aspects of consciousness, the different aspects of the self. So, loving each other is loving oneself. You've heard this. You've considered this deeply. But have you taken into account what this really means when understanding that the self has got many aspects? Sorry, I was just doing something. I have my son's sweater here. I didn't want to drop it on the floor. So it's important for us to be able to appreciate that what we consider to be the self is essentially different parts of different beings conglomerating through synergy and cooperation. The different organs are different beings. The different grades of tissue are different life forms. And all these different life forms have learned to commingle and evolved to the point where they can coexist in such closeness as to resemble a body, through which greater fields of consciousness can be built in scale to produce a highly intelligent instrument through which we can experience self. So if one is loving the people in the world around oneself, and one is loving the animals, very important. The shaman understands that love is fundamental, which is why the shaman's heart is always open to love. The shaman loves nature. The shaman loves animals, loves the elemental forces, loves every being that comes in contact with the shaman, for they understand that to love the guides, to love oneself, is to love everybody and love everything. And this is the basis of the universal love. We're all striving towards some form of universal experience of freedom. And love sets us free because it causes us to stop competing. I did a video on competition recently. And competition is what disconnects us from our hearts, disconnects us from love. And it's so important for us to be able to appreciate and to grasp the fundamental reality of love. That everything that we can experience here, wow, that light is bright. Everything that we can experience here is the fundamental expression of love. And that life is the forces of love at work. And this is why life is beautiful. This is why life produces harmony and is bound by the laws of harmony. That is the essence of all love. So it is our job in this world to experience this love fully and to be able to become an expression of these forces. For love is the force that creates synergy and connection. You could say that everything is created out of love, if you want to get right down to it. From an agnostic perspective, the first eon sacrificed its body so that other forms of life could exist through its essence. And those forms sacrificed themselves so that other forms could exist through those forms which were expressions of the first form. And love can be considered the first primal eon, the first being to be created, the first heavenly being was love. And from love, all other things were built. And this is why love is the connecting force between all things. This is why love is the first and last. It's the first thing you think about, and it's the last thing you think about when you die. You consider all of those that you love, all of those that you've loved. And it's the first thing you think about when you're happy. It's the first thing you think about when you're scared, when you're angry. Those that you love are the ones that you want to protect. Those that you love are the ones that you want to be with when you're scared. Those that you love are the ones that you want to share things with when you have good luck and you have good fortune that comes your way. So it's fundamentally important to understand that this key note of frequency and vibration is the balance of all things, that all things are reflected in it, through it, because all things are essentially it. So grasping this principle is what puts us in tune with the higher frequencies of being. And it's why compassion is so important. For the passions are separate animals, if you want to think of them in such forms, separate parts of the consciousness field. And they are all striving and competing to gain a foothold, to gain supremacy within the sphere of consciousness. Though the true supremacy within the sphere of consciousness is love. Love is really the primal, most basic force that is fundamental from whence all other forces come from, because all things are essentially connected to all other things, and all things are expressions of the same one reality. And it's the basis of the quantum entanglement field, if you want to get right down to it. It's the basis of the second Hermetic principle, the principle that all things relate to all other things, and that there is a corresponding continuity that connects all things and all aspects of the universe to others, and people, and beings too. And to be able to be aware of this is to be able to grasp the concept, is to be able to grasp exactly what it is we're doing in this world and why we're here. It's so important for us to realize this. For without love, life becomes empty, becomes hollow, becomes a pointless pursuit of achieving things, of success. And you can find that those people that are living without love end up sour, unhappy, disappointed, lost, confused. And so the word evil comes from this recognition. What we consider evil is when someone has lost all of their love, when they've stopped living for love, through love, because of love. Because it's the reason all the animals are what they are. If you watch the way these penguins look after each other, there's so much love. If you watch the way parental beings, whether they're animals or humans, sacrifice themselves for their children or their young, it's all based on love. Love is self-sacrifice. Love is when you give of yourself endlessly and share. You don't hold back. We've been taught to hold back in this world. We've been taught not to love. We've been taught to compete. We've been taught ownership. Love doesn't own. Love frees. Love gives. Love shares. Sharing is contradicting a contradiction of the term of ownership if you want to get down to it. So to understand what evil is to understand what love is. For everything that the word evil encapsulates is just the absence of love. And it sort of simplifies things down to the ground when one thinks in these terms. And these are the way in which the shaman are able to understand the universe, able to understand the nature of life. For it is the deep love that connects the shaman to the guides, the deep love of all of the forces of creation, of all of these living presences that guide our lives and guide our hearts along this path in order to find a greater sense of harmony, a greater sense of wisdom, and a greater sense of knowledge. So remember that next time you're feeling unloved or like you're not loving. Love is the basis of all currency in the universe. All things stem from love. You can never be apart from love unless you deny love. And the denial of love is the denial of the self. And the denial of the self is the denial of truth. And this is the denial of life. So never deny life, embrace life, for life is present in love. This is the Bush Whisperer, sharing a few words about love. I hope you have an absolutely gorgeous day. Take it easy, be well, and enjoy. Aum Shanti.